a man with no value to you has chosen to be vulnerable. That is bad game. That is bad game.
It just looks like you're playing victim at that point if you don't know me.
Earn the right to be sensitive in front of women.
Men do not process emotion the same way that women do. When men get emotional, they default to anger. When women get emotional, they default to tears. So that's just a fundamental, easy to observe.
Because aren't some guys taught that if they cry,
it's not about
they're going to be less.
Men fundamentally
society.
lack. It's not society. Men fundamentally lack the hardware to emote like a woman will emote. And that's the problem, is we try to force fit men's emotions into the female way of thinking. So if a man doesn't cry at the end of fucking Titanic, then he must be emotionally stunted.
Right, but what if, I'm talking about, like, what if the men do cry? Like, what if that is their outlet? You know what I mean? Because there are people like that. Everyone is different.
It's usually conditioning, because the boy who becomes the man is taught to emote like a woman. Yes, you can condition a boy to do that because he's rewarded for he can cry on demand, and he's rewarded for crying on demand. Then yes, you're going to get that guy.
So an example is Jordan Peterson. You guys have seen him cry several times online. One of my favorite coaches of all time.
I like him.
One of my favorite coaches of all time is Dick Vermeil.
Because he's off his meds.
Dick Vermeil.
Dick Vermeil. Dick Vermeil took the Eagles to the Super Bowl in 1980, and then he won the Super Bowl with the Rams in 1999. And he cried every time. He would cry all the time. But the thing is, Dick Vermeil was a Super Bowl winning coach crying, and Jordan Peterson is a multimillionaire, like, published author crying. If you didn't know who Jordan Peterson was and you just watched him cry without context, you would be like, "Who is this bitch?" Because here's the funny thing. It's easy to do these things where you show sensitivity and you show all this not weakness, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but vulnerability. You're showing all this vulnerability. When you're showing these things, it's one thing to do it when you have status. If you are a regular dude, if you're Machine Gun Kelly and you wear a pink dress, you're Machine Gun Kelly in a pink dress. You're a superstar wearing a pink dress. If you're an average dude wearing a pink dress, you're a fucking weirdo. And that's where we're getting these things confused when we start telling men to be more vulnerable and to be more sensitive. If you don't have the status in order to do that, they are going to fucking laugh at you. And I think it's bad advice for women to tell men, hey, you need to be more vulnerable like early on in the relationship. No, you don't. Men are being taught to be plenty vulnerable. Tekashi 6ix9ine is snitching to the feds. Like, Machine Gun Kelly is wearing a pink dress. We're taught to be plenty vulnerable. I think it is a mistake, and I think what happens is, over time, she's the mother of your children, and you had to put a dog down. That's a time to cry. That's your wife. That's the mother of your children. You had to put a dog. That's okay. It's this first date shit where we're being taught men need to be more sensitive. No, the fuck you don't. You don't need to be sensitive in the beginning.
Be less sensitive.
You need to earn that right to be sensitive in front of your woman. That's what I think. I think that's a better thing. And what we're doing is uncontextually having dudes go out there and trying to be sensitive. And you see, like, again, when you see movie stars doing things that are hyper feminine, we mistake that and we think all men should be doing that. No, those are movie stars. They can do that. They can get away with it. One more time, gentlemen, anybody who's listening to that, who you've never joined MOA or you're interested in, you cannot give value unless you have value. And these men are trying to give value when these women don't know who they are. Just imagine if some dude starts hitching you up, Santana, on your DMs, and he's just telling you his whole fucking life story, and like he's a victim and how his girlfriend cheated on him.
It's happened.
Yeah, but
literally the other day, he's like, my baby mama this, my baby mama that.
Does that make you more attracted to him?
I was laughing my ass off at it. I was like, I don't even know you like that.
A man with no value to you has chosen to be vulnerable. That is bad game. That is bad game.
It just looks like you're playing victim at that point if you don't know me.
Earn the right to be sensitive in front of women, okay? Or just don't be sensitive.
Tell them there's a difference between being compassionate and sensitive.
Yes, and there's a big difference between being like emotional because something bad happened and being a fucking victim.
Men will use vulnerability and they will use emotionalism as a form of game. So when you're teaching boys that you need to be more emotionally expressive, you need to emote more like a woman, what will guys do? They will compete with other guys to be the most emotionalist motherfucker that they could possibly be.
I hate Andrew Tate. I hate Andrew Tate. He's so bad. We should cancel him.
Yes. Have you ever actually listened to him?
So the more that they can become, like the more they can identify with the feminine, and guys will compete with other guys to be the most feminine because they think that is what's going to make them most successful. They're going to get the reward of intimacy from women if they act more like women. The problem is,
if guys are feminine like that, I fuck them in the ass.
Yeah. The pegging continues. You put you in the fucking box.
Are we done? I'm ready to go to sleep.
But no, I was going to say. So as far as the vulnerability side of things, because some guys will say, well, women really like a vulnerable side. Yes, if your primary predominant character is being a stoic alpha male, imagine the most like masculine stoic guy you can possibly imagine. A guy looks like The Rock, and all you see is one single tear drops down his face,
and then he sucks it back up.
Yeah. Like women want to think that they're the only ones that can bring that out of a guy who's like that.
I'll drink The Rock's tears.
Exactly. See,
he was just asking me about it.
Good. Tell him I'm available.
I'll let you cry my eyes.